Hey guys, Sam here, and welcome to another review. Now, this time, I'm reviewing something that's associated with February, which is considered by many to be the month of love. Yeah, there are a lot of cartoons out there that have their Valentine's-themed episodes, and no matter how good or bad they are, we all know they have one thing in common. They always have the mushy stuff. Mwah, 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 mwah. So, if you're into that, good for you. But if you're someone that's just recently been dumped or has never even experienced love at all, then you must absolutely hate this time of year.
God, I hate this day. Valentine's Day, I f***ing hate Valentine's Day. Just a feeling of loneliness and isolation in my life while everyone else has the time of their lives with their boyfriends and girlfriends. Valentine's Day could suck my...
Jesus Christ. Jeez, if only there was a girl like Zoe out there for you, Ricky. Anyway, I'm gonna look at one episode from a Disney show that I didn't watch growing up, but I'm starting to get a little familiar with now, and that is Recess. The show about a gang of 4th graders who go through so many misadventures at their school was a pretty big hit for Disney back in the 90s, but I never watched it. I was more into Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network shows at the time. I mean, I watched a bit of Phineas and Ferb here and there, but the only other show that was on that channel all the goddamn time for a 2000s kid like me was... Cripes. Disclaimer, if you liked the show growing up, that is fine. I just didn't like it. Give me Drake and Josh any day. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, Recess had itself a Valentine's Day episode in Season 3 called Funny Valentines. So is it any good, or is it just as trashy as the usual Valentine's Day card you find at Target? Well, let's go ahead and have a look. And if you've watched my videos before, you already know the drill. Summary first, thoughts afterwards. Okay, we good? Alright, let's get to the lovey-dovey. It's Valentine's Day at 3rd Street School, and all the 4th graders are happy making their special cards. That is, except for one kid, TJ. Surprisingly, he doesn't want any Valentines, and he's not actually giving any out either. The reason? He finds Valentine's Day to be absolutely pointless and stupid, despite the rest of his friends thinking the opposite. But when TJ talks with Mr. Kelso, the store owner of Kelso's, and learns that he and his friends used to make their cards by hand instead of buying cards off the shelves, TJ gets a great idea. He decides to make joke Valentine's Day cards for all of the girls in his 4th grade class to prove how stupid the holiday is. But his plan backfires as the girls don't see his cards as jokes. They actually think he genuinely gave them these cards from the heart. And TJ figures out right away that he's in trouble because he figures that once every single girl finds out that he gave a card to every single one of them, there is gonna be some problems. So he tries to find all of the girls he gave a card to and asks for them to keep it as a secret. Unfortunately, that doesn't last for long when the Ashleys figure out his little plan, tell the rest of the girls about it, and decide to chase TJ. And to make things worse, TJ's own female friends, Spinelli and Gretchen, get a card from him too, figure out what he did, and they chase after him as well. Eventually, all the boys in the gang are trapped in the bathroom by all of the 4th grade girls, who are banging on the door and demanding for TJ to come out. Finally, TJ does, in this manner, and decides to go out there and apologize for his mischievous deed. He also apologizes for playing around with their feelings too, but he also says that he's not apologizing that the cards he made for every single girl in his class made them feel special, because he feels that every girl should have a special Valentine. Eventually the girls realize how thoughtful TJ was for doing that and decide to forgive him. So it's a happy ending, right? Well, unfortunately, no. And that's because TJ keeps blabbing away and accidentally lets it slip that they were all joke cards. And the episode ends with the girls chasing after him. Again. The end. So that's the episode. What are my thoughts? Well, it's very obvious that this Disney cartoon is a whole lot different compared to the recent Disney cartoons that have come out nowadays. Shows like Owl House, Gravity Falls, Amphibia, the DuckTales reboot, and Star Vs have really dynamic animation, beautiful colors, fantasy-driven premises, and very complex characters. And those are the big reasons why so many people love these shows. As for shows like Recess, I guess it is kind of like the Hey Arnold of Disney cartoons. It didn't need dynamic animation, big fight scenes, or big fantasy stories in order to be a good show. It basically gave us relatable characters, slice-of-life stories, good humor, and nice messages. And if a show can do all of those things pretty well, then it can still be a good show too. So, does this episode display all of those qualities I mentioned well? Well, in some ways, yes. The story is easy to understand, and it can be relatable to any kid or any adult that doesn't like Valentine's Day. Now, for me personally, I like it. It's not my favorite holiday, but it's okay. Although there was that one Valentine's Day I had back in 9th grade where I was so sick that I threw up 4 times in one day. Yeah, that is the total opposite of what the holiday is supposed to be. And that's definitely a quality that should not be marketed for any Valentine's Day commercials coming up. I mean, would you really want to hear your next Valentine's Day commercial like this? Valentine's Day, the day of love, hearts, chocolates, and vomiting. Anyway, the story is simple, understandable, relatable, and it can be pretty funny too. Now, the comedy in this one isn't as funny as other episodes I've covered, but it's got its moments, like TJ's Valentine's bag, a couple of the poems he writes in his handmade cards, him and Vince hiding in a hole away from the girls, and even the white flag of surrender. Yeah, the boys actually use that when they get cornered in the bathroom. That's pretty funny. Especially since it made me question, did they use paper towels to make that white flag of surrender, or did they make it out of toilet paper? Yeah, this cartoon is asking the real questions here. I mean, don't be asking questions like, what does life really mean? Like, what kind of knowledge should we be waiting for as we get older? No. That kind of question right there. Was that white flag of surrender made out of paper towels or toilet paper? No, that is the most important question. And you want to know what else is an important question out there? Stuff like this.
Wayne Tech promised an electric car by this year. I put a deposit down. Where's my goddamn electric car, Bruce?
Oh man, I love the Harley Quinn show. And man, I gotta review an episode from that soon. I also do like how TJ's plan backfires. Instead of the girls laughing at them, they actually take them seriously and like them. It's kind of like that arc in the Big Nate comic strips where Nate gives a Valentine to every girl in school in the hopes of having just one girl like him. But, of course, the plan fails spectacularly. Except with TJ, it's the opposite effect. And the last thing I like is, again, the scene where TJ comes out and reads his apology speech. It's really well handled and it does teach us a good lesson. You really never should play around with someone else's feelings just for the sake of a cheap laugh. But I also like how he didn't apologize about the cards making the girls feel special. Regardless of what the intention was, the cards did manage to touch the girls' hearts and TJ now realizes that. It's kind of like how a comedy movie, despite its initial intentions to make you laugh, can actually get a very emotional response from the audience. Like, there's some people that laugh at Hotel Transylvania, but there's also people that have cried when watching it because they found something deeper in it. That's really something when a movie or a card can make people laugh, but also make them feel good too. And that's what the girls in this episode realize as well, because yeah, TJ did put a whole lot of effort into making those handmade cards. It wasn't like, oh, he went off to the store and just got a bunch of them and just gave them to every girl. No, he made those like all night long. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, it can't go unappreciated. Of course, TJ ruins the moment by not keeping his mouth shut, but the message in this episode isn't lost. Whether you want to make a heartfelt card or a funny card, the very least you can do is put some effort into them. And if you are able to do that, you might be able to make someone's day great. There's nothing wrong with giving Valentines out to others, but you should be doing it for the right reason. So yeah, I thought this episode was decent, but are there any problems with it? Well, there are a few, but they are very minor. 1. The teacher in the intro getting freaked out by TJ's heart bag.
TJ, your Valentine's Day bag! It's absolutely grotesque!
It's really not that grotesque, ma'am. That's literally what a heart looks like. Hell, there are actual cards out there that have actual hearts on them, so it's not really that gross. Plus, I think it's kinda cool and funny. Number 2, okay, this might just be a me thing, but here goes. I think the pacing in this episode is a little too fast. Now, I'm not talking about, like, the transitions or anything. I'm talking about, like, how the characters exchange their lines.
You boycotted Valentine's Day.
Did I, Vince?
What are you talking about, man?
As we speak, every girl in the 4th grade is opening a handmade Valentine from yours truly.
TJ, you old softy.
Not quite, Vince, my friend.
The line-to-line exchange goes in a bit of a fast way than what I'm used to from other shows. Again, it's only just a personal nitpick, but it's just something that I've noticed. And hell, Hey Arnold has that sometimes too, and I like that show, so it's not really detrimental to the episode in any way. Again, it's only a small nitpick. But I guess my third and biggest issue with this episode is that while it is decent, it doesn't really stand out compared to other Valentine's Day episodes. I mean, compare Funny Valentines to Hearts and Hooves Day from MLP. Now, while I do think that Funny Valentines is a little bit better than Hearts and Hooves Day, I do remember that episode much more. And not just because of like the animation, voice acting, and the jokes, but also because it had a message that was a lot stronger, and yeah, it got across that message pretty well, and there were a lot of moments in it that really do stick out to me. And in Recess's Funny Valentines, I mean, there's some moments that stick out. Again, the white flag of surrender, TJ's joke Valentines, and the ending speech. But as for the rest, it's kind of a bit mundane and simple to me. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I'm just saying that if this episode really wanted to stand out compared to other Valentine's Day episodes, it didn't exactly achieve that. But in conclusion, I do like it, and I recommend it. I may have my personal nitpicks with it, but that's just what I see in my eyes. For the rest of you, you may just see this as a pretty fun and funny Valentine's Day episode. And you know what? What's wrong with that? I'm sure it's not the best episode in the entire show, but it's still decent. So the final score I'll give this episode is an 8 out of 10. Well guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, my name is Sam, and good night everybody, and a special to all of you because the month of love has just begun.